Hi, everyone. I'm Golda from Norton. We are an independent and employee-owned publisher that was founded in 1923. I'm going to take you through highlights from our fall list pretty quickly. We have a lot more great titles coming out, and you can find out more about them from our catalogs on Edelweiss and at our website, www.norton.com. Here are some recommended titles that are available now. The Five Wounds by Kirsten Valdez-Quaid has already been picked for several book clubs. And down in the bottom right, you'll see the cover of one of our recent Pulitzer Prize winners, The Dead Are Arising, by Les Payne and Tamara Payne, which comes out in paperback in October. Mrs. March by Virginia Faito. This is a slow burn psychological suspense novel that has already been optioned for film by Elizabeth Moss. Good for fans of Shirley Jackson or Patricia Highsmith. This will keep you asking questions all the way through, wondering what is going on, and then bam, there's a killer ending. This was on the August Library Reads list, and once you read it, you will want to discuss it with your friends. Poison for Breakfast is the first Lemony Snicket book for adults. Really, it's fine for teens and adults, but it's more philosophical than his kids' books, so we're putting it in the adult section. After finishing his delicious breakfast, Lemony Snicket notices a note slipped under the door. It says, "You had poison for breakfast." Uh-oh. The novel has a typical use of digressions and tangents that you expect from a Lemony Snicket book, but it's actually not as dark as the series of unfortunate events. Yay, a new book by Mary Roach. With her usual entertaining science writing and wonderful way of explaining things, Fuzz takes us into the world of animal and human interaction. What happens when it goes wrong? And how can humans and animals better coexist when humans keep expanding their habitat? Fuzz is on the September Library Reads list. We are also reissuing Mary Roach's first book, Stiff, in paperback with a new afterword. And if we have any middle grade fans out there, get excited for Packing for Mars for Kids, coming out in March 2022. You remember Richard Powers from his Pulitzer Prize winning novel, The Overstory. He's back with a new novel, Bewildemment, publishing in September. Bewildemment looks at the impact of the broken world on our children. This is a father and son story, with a father doing everything he can to help his troubled young son. This includes a lot of the environmental concerns that you've come to expect from Richard Powers, and it's a very moving story. The Lost Notebook of Edouard Manet by Maureen Gibbon is a novel in the form of a diary of Manet's last years, around the time that he painted his final masterpiece. The book also includes some of Manet's sketches as illustrations. This is being published as a paperback original and should appeal to book groups, fans of novels about art or Paris, and historical fiction fans. Joy Harjo has a new memoir coming out in September. In Poet Warrior, Harjo brings together stories of ancestors and family, the poetry and music that she first encountered as a child, the teachings of a changing earth, and the poets who paved her way. In its starred review, Publishers Weekly said, "In a gorgeous and meditative work that blends poetry, philosophy, and nonlinear narrative, U.S. Poet Laureate Harjo delivers a lyrical homage to her Creek Nation family." And just a fun side note, that beadwork on the cover is actually done by Joy Harjo's daughter, Rainey. Read Until You Understand is a literary criticism with personal reflections woven in. Farah Jasmine Griffin entwines memoir, history, and art, while she keeps her finger on the pulse of the present, asking us to grapple with the continuing struggle for Black freedom and the ongoing project that is American democracy. Using the power of reading, she challenges us to reckon with our commitment to all the nation's inhabitants and our responsibilities to all humanity. The Starred Publishers Weekly Review says, "Perfect for literature lovers, this survey and its moving insights will stick with readers well after the last page is turned." The Family Roe by Joshua Prager is a result of years of research into the Roe versus Wade case and extensive interviews with Norma McCorvey. Prager also traces Roe's 50-year trajectory through three compelling figures: Linda Coffey, Curtis Boyd, and Mildred Jefferson. This is a must-read for both sides of the debate. There is some previously unpublished information in the book that should definitely make the news. People Love Dead Jews is a collection of essays by award-winning novelist Dara Horn. She draws upon her travels, her research, and also her own family life to assert the vitality, complexity, and depth of Jewish life against an anti-Semitism that is on the rise. As Horn explores the shocking attacks on the American Jewish community in recent years, she reveals the subtler dehumanization built into the public piety that surrounds the Jewish past, making the radical argument that the benign reverence we give to past horrors is part of the problem. The first book in Glory Edom's new well-read Black Girl library, On Girlhood, collects 15 stories, all on the theme of coming of age. The collection serves as a wonderful introduction to both famous and lesser-known writers, and will lead readers to look for more of their work. At times heartbreaking and at times hilarious, these stories boldly push past flat stereotypes and powerfully convey the beauty of Black girlhood. In bringing together an array of influential authors, past and present, whose work remains timeless, Glory Edom has created an indispensable compendium for every home library and a soul-stirring guide to coming of age. What Storm, What Thunder by Miriam Chansey is the lead novel for Tin House Books this fall, and we already have a quote from Edwidge Danticat, who called it sublime. This is set in Haiti before, during, and after the Port-au-Prince earthquake of 2010. Chansey weaves together 10 different characters into a fascinating and incredibly moving novel. The book is an unforgettable testimony to the tenacity of the human spirit. And she's going to be at the online Library Journal Day of Dialogue in September. Damascus Station is a fast-paced thriller by former CIA analyst David McCloskey. It's full of intense action and spycraft, and there's even a forbidden love story. Give this to your fans of David Ignatius, Daniel Silva, Martin Cruz Smith, and the Red Sparrow series by Jason Matthews. New York, My Village is a new novel by Uwem Akpan, whose previous book was an Oprah Book Club pick. The protagonist is a Nigerian editor working on a collection of stories about the Biafran War. He comes to New York for a publishing fellowship and quickly learns that even though his new colleagues and neighbors welcome him with kindness and hospitality, there is an underlying bedrock of white cultural superiority and racist assumptions about Africa, its peoples, and its food. The novel is searingly observant about the myriad ways that tribalism defines life everywhere, from the villages of Africa to the villages within New York City. But it is still full of humor and hope. Coming from Mysterious Press in November is The Left-Handed Twin, a new book in the Jane Whitefield series by Thomas Perry. This is Thomas Perry's most popular series, and in this book, the bad guys are teaming up to come after Jane. Win Me Something by Kyle Lucia Wu stars a young Chinese-American woman working as a nanny for a wealthy white family. This is a coming-of-age debut about a young woman who asks what it really means to belong and how she might begin to define her own life. Breathing Lessons is an authoritative, accessible guide to how our lungs work and how to protect them. Dr. Mei-Lan Han is a professor of medicine in the Division of Pulmonary and Critical Care at the University of Michigan and a national spokesperson for the American Lung Association. In Tastemakers, Mayuk Sen profiles 7 female chefs and food writers, all immigrants, who left an indelible mark on the way Americans eat today. Tastemakers will challenge the way readers look at what's on their plate, and the women whose labor, overlooked for so long, makes those meals possible. Patricia Highsmith's longtime editor, Anna van Planta, culled down 50 years worth of diary entries into a revealing narrative that gives you insight into Highsmith's personality and writing, and lets you see how Patricia Highsmith evolved. And there are several TV and movie adaptations of Highsmith's works in the works that we expect to see continuing interest in Patricia Highsmith's backlist. This is probably our biggest book of the fall in size and page count. The Lyrics is a 2-volume box set of the lyrics to 154 Paul McCartney songs. It also includes tons of photographs and written reflections by Paul McCartney on the inspirations behind the songs. Spanning 64 years, The Lyrics is the definitive literary and visual record of one of our greatest songwriters. I want to say congratulations to New Directions on their 85th anniversary. They're an independent publisher that Norton distributes. If you're looking for literature and translation, poetry, drama, or literary essays, you should check out New Directions at their website, ndbooks.com. If you've been dreaming of travel or looking for local places to go, Countryman Press has several travel series that might interest you. Their long-standing series is called The Explorer's Guides. Then they also have a Backroads and Byways series and a 50 Hikes series. You can find a book for just about every state or region in the USA from Countryman Press, full of color photos, maps, and local intel. Next is the American Mystery Classics series from Penzler Publishing. This series brings back mysteries from the 1920s and 1930s that have long been out of print and unavailable. And most of the books include an introduction that gives you more background on the author and puts their work in context. These are published in hardcover and paperback simultaneously. There's a wide variety of mystery types here, so anyone who's interested in historical mystery should be able to find something to read. And you can find out more about them at penzlerpublishers.com. And finally, for anyone who likes kids' books, I hope you'll check out Norton Young Readers. We launched a children's book imprint in 2019, and one of our first titles, Free Lunch by Rex Ogle, won the YALSA Excellence in Nonfiction Award. Rex has a new memoir for teens called Punching Bag coming out in October. And we have a lot more informative and exciting titles available now and coming soon. You can find more book recommendations on my YouTube channel, and please reach out if you have any questions. Thank you all so much for listening.